It was a cold and silent Christmas Eve. The night had fallen, and my family and I gathered around the glowing Christmas tree, its lights casting dancing shadows on the walls. The smell of freshly baked cookies wafted through the house, and the cheerful laughter of my parents and siblings filled the air. It was a perfect evening, or so I thought. As a child, I was brimming with excitement, eagerly awaiting the arrival of Santa Claus. My heart pounded with anticipation, imagining the jolly old man leaving presents under our tree. Little did I know that the intruder lurking in our home that night would be far from the Santa I had envisioned. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, I couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. Something was amiss. I excused myself from the festivities to investigate, armed with a sense of dread. My footsteps echoed through the dimly lit hallway as I ventured deeper into the house. The air grew colder, and an eerie silence enveloped me. The house seemed different, alien, and shadows danced ominously in every corner. I reached the living room, my heart pounding in my chest. There, bathed in the soft Christmas lights, I saw a figure standing by the tree, its back to me. It was dressed in a tattered, blood-stained Santa suit. My breath caught in my throat. With a trembling voice, I called out, "Santa?" No response. I took a hesitant step closer. That's when it turned around, revealing a face, pale and lifeless, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce my very soul. The thing that had masqueraded as Santa was no human. It was a grotesque, ghastly presence. Fear surged through me as it lunged towards me, long, bony fingers outstretched. I screamed and ran, my heart racing, desperately searching for safety. My family rushed to my side, but the intruder had vanished into thin air. To this day, I shudder when I think of that terrifying encounter. Christmas lost its magic that night, replaced by a lingering fear. I've never been able to explain what I saw, but one thing is certain: the intruder was no Santa Claus. So, my advice to you, dear listener, is this: cherish the holiday season, but be cautious. Sometimes the things that go bump in the night are far more sinister than we could ever imagine. Keep a watchful eye on Christmas Eve, and don't let the magic blind you to the chilling reality that may be lurking in the shadows. On that eerie Christmas Eve, snowflakes fell silently, cloaking our cozy home in a white shroud. The fireplace crackled, casting dancing shadows on the walls. With excitement, I nestled into my blankets, ready for a peaceful night's sleep. As the clock's hand neared midnight, my eyelids grew heavy. I drifted into a dream, where a spectral figure beckoned me through a misty forest. The whispers of chilling wind echoed in my ears. Suddenly I awoke in my own bed, the specter's words still haunting my mind. Startled, I stumbled downstairs to investigate. Our family room felt oddly frigid, and there, before the Christmas tree, stood a stranger. A tall, thin man, draped in tattered clothing, his face obscured by shadows. My heart raced as I whispered, "Who are you?" His voice was a spectral wisp. "I am a wanderer, seeking warmth." Fear gripped me, but the spirit of the season compelled me to offer hospitality. I led him to the fireplace, the fire's warmth casting light upon his face. His skin was pallid, his eyes vacant, like a lost soul. As I turned to fetch some hot cocoa, he muttered, "I was lost in the woods, and I need something more precious than warmth." Panic welled inside me as he reached into his tattered coat and produced a gleaming knife. I backed away, stumbling over a fallen log. His eyes, hollow and lifeless, bore into me. In a flash, he lunged. My heart pounded as I ran through the snow-covered forest, branches scraping my skin, gasping for breath. Terrifyingly, I heard his eerie laughter behind me, echoing through the woods like a sinister melody. The nightmare felt endless, but eventually I burst through the trees, gasping for air, and found myself back in my family room. The stranger was gone, but the fireplace still burned brightly. My heart still raced, and the chill lingered in my bones. It was then I realized my dream had been a warning. The man had wanted something precious, my life. I had narrowly escaped a sinister fate, one that had drawn me into a real-life horror story. My advice to you, dear listener, is to trust your instincts and be cautious of the strangers you invite into your home, especially on this most magical yet treacherous night. Even in the warmest of moments, darkness can descend like a shroud, and the line between dream and nightmare can blur. May your Christmas be filled with joy, and may you remain ever vigilant against the chilling unknown that may lurk in the shadows, even when the world seems most inviting. As the snow fell gently outside, casting a tranquil white blanket over our little home, I couldn't help but feel a warmth in my heart. It was Christmas Eve, and my family had gathered to celebrate the holiday in our cozy, centuries-old farmhouse. The tree was adorned with sparkling lights. The scent of cinnamon and pine filled the air, and laughter echoed through the halls. But little did we know that the true gift of Christmas would be a terrifying mystery that unfolded that night. It was during dinner when a strange chill swept through the room, extinguishing the candles one by one. We all exchanged puzzled glances, but before we could react, the power went out, plunging us into darkness. My heart raced as the house seemed to creak and groan in an eerie harmony with the wind outside. My brother Mark bravely lit a few candles, casting flickering shadows across our faces. We soon realized that our mobile phones were missing, mysteriously vanished along with the lights. Panic started to set in, and we wondered if it was some elaborate prank. But that thought was shattered when we heard a whisper coming from the hallway. "Merry Christmas," it hissed, sending shivers down our spines. Slowly we approached the hallway, and there, illuminated by the wavering candlelight, stood a stranger. He was a tall, gaunt figure, his face hidden beneath a tattered hood. "Who are you? What do you want?" I stammered, my voice quivering. The stranger said nothing, but from the folds of his cloak, he produced a twisted, wicked smile. In an instant, chaos erupted as we tried to contain the intruder, but he moved with unnatural speed, eluding our grasp. He seemed to know our every move, our every thought. With a chilling calmness, he whispered, "I've been waiting for this night." Fear turned to desperation as we realized we were trapped in our own home with this sinister interloper. We barricaded ourselves in a room, our hearts pounding in terror. The stranger's sinister voice echoed through the house, each word dripping with malevolence. Hours passed like a nightmare, and we finally heard the distant wail of sirens. The police arrived, and the intruder was captured. It turned out he was an escapade convict, and our home was merely a refuge for him. The nightmare ended, but the trauma remained. I look back on that Christmas Eve with both fear and gratitude, realizing how fragile our sense of safety can be. My advice to you, dear listener, is to cherish your loved ones and hold them close, for danger can come when you least expect it. And on this silent night, always remember that the uninvited guest may not be the one you expect.